What's up, guys? How's everyone feeling? Week 1 in the books. We're off and running. The Bills are in first place all by themselves, just like everyone thought they'd be, just like all the tankers hoped, and yada 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 yada. Now, don't let anybody take this win away from you. Like, as a fan, if you're a player for the Bills, like, I know the Jets are bad. Like, they might even be tanking. What's your argument for them not tanking anyway when they punt down by 9 points, 2 scores, with 4 minutes to go in the ball at like midfield? They're clearly tanking. There's whatever. I don't get what would be your point if they weren't. Todd Bowles is a bad coach. Maybe that's your point. Regardless. I mean, you gotta win. This is like, if you're I heard this analogy, or comparison. If you're an MMA fighter, or Conor McGregor or whoever, and you gotta fight somebody that you know you're way better than, like, you still gotta go out there and beat them. So don't mess around and just whop them. First round, knock them out. Conor McGregor does it all the time. The Bills, did they really do that? Not exactly. It was 14-12 in the third quarter, but they never trailed. They looked like they were in control of the game pretty much the whole time. They really could have scored 31 points. I mean, Charles Clay dropped the touchdown right through his hands. It took points off the board. Stephen Hauschka missed a field goal. I mean, it could have very easily been 31-12. And I know that the butterfly effect and whatnot. But, that people miss field goals, etc., whatever. It just very, very could have easily been 31-12. All Charles Clay's got to catch that ball. It's a little up on him, but he could have caught it. And if Stephen Hauschka makes that field goal, then you're talking, like, blowout territory. So, I don't, even though the Jets were in it, sort of, I wasn't really that worried. I don't know if any of you guys were. I didn't feel too concerned that the Bills would be, they were moving the ball pretty well. LaShawn McCoy looked amazing. 27 touches for $150 total. Thank God his wrist is fine. Tyrod, I thought, played pretty well. 224 passing yards, 2 touchdowns, interception I don't put on him. He only got sacked twice. Added 38 yards rushing. So, I mean, there's your typical Tyrod game. You know what you're getting from Tyrod just about every time, right? There it is. I'd expect pretty much the same thing this week against Carolina. 200 to about 225, a touchdown or 2, and about 40 rushing. That's what you get from him. It might have benefited them they played the Jets. Like I said, it's just, so what? You still have to beat them. They shouldn't feel sorry or something. Like, your schedule is what it is. You play who you play. They didn't ask to play the Jets. The NFL put them up against the Jets, and they beat the Jets, who, granted, not good. 38 yards rushing total, 187 passing on 39 attempts. Terrible. 2 interceptions, the sack from Poyer. I thought Poyer was the best player for the Bills on defense with the sack, a couple of passes defense, one of the interceptions. Looked like he could sniff out some plays in the running game too. I'm encouraged by that. Again, it's only one game, but I'm encouraged. Like I said last week, I seriously think the Bills can start 3-0. That doesn't mean they will. They could very well be 1-2 if they make this video 2 weeks from now. But they can put together a pretty decent performance. If they didn't get penalized terribly, a couple holding penalties on Incognito. The turnover, could have been a touchdown. Obviously, you want to capitalize upon that, but like I said, they could have had over 30 points, and they only allowed 12. And it took the Jets till 4th and goal to sneak it in, which they probably should have done 2 plays before that, but to get the second touchdown. So, not overly concerned with anything. I thought we got the type of performance we were looking for, to be completely honest with you. If I had to what would concern me, I guess, Charles Clay dropping the ball so much. Because he looks like he has built some serious rapport with Tyrod over the past, even going back to last season. He's got 5 touchdowns in the last 4 games he's played with Tyrod. So I'm encouraged by that because Tyrod's now throwing to the middle of the field a little bit. They have 5 passing plays of more than 20 yards. Granted, one was the Matthews play where he kind of caught and ran with it after the catch. Another was the McCoy 2nd and 20 screen where he goes for 21. That was crazy. But, again, Tyrod doesn't have to apologize for that. Yards after the catch help. It's part of the league. I kind of felt like across the league, week 1, there was just it was kind of weird. There was a lack of offense, at least in the 1 o'clock early games. I know that, or there were a lot of defensive touchdowns. I was just going to say, I know that the Rams put up 46 points, but it just felt like offense was kind of not really there. Wasn't somebody throwing 4 touchdowns? Alex Smith did, but on Thursday, but just a lack of yards and points. I mean, I noticed that through fantasy football. Obviously, you're kind of scrolling through your point, where am I getting all my points? If you didn't have Kareem Hunt, or whatever, this is kind of a tough day. I don't know if you guys sort of felt the same way about that. Anyway, I'm going to Carolina on Friday morning. I will be attending the game, so if you are too, let me know. I don't know where I'm sitting at. I bought a package with a Bills Backers bar out there where they provide a tailgate for us and give us a bus ride to the game and whatnot. So I will be there, and I'll probably tweet where I'm sitting or something like that. My Twitter handle is the same as my YouTube username. You can hit me up on there, as always. I'm excited because I don't really know what to expect. I don't expect the Bills to win, but it wouldn't shock me. It would be an upset because Carolina's a 7-point favorite right now. But I wouldn't be totally blown away. I guess I'd be surprised. I'd be pumped up. Don't get me wrong. But I wouldn't be totally shocked. I think the Bills can beat them, especially the way Carolina played on Sunday. I didn't think they looked they looked really good on defense, but again, they're playing the Niners. Should we look at them the same way? They're probably not saying the same thing. Just because they played San Francisco, their defense gets knocked down a tad because they played Brian Hoyer. And they only ran the ball 15 times, and they threw the ball 35, and San Francisco threw the ball 35 times, and it was basically the same thing as the Jets game. It was the same thing as Bills-Jets. So I don't really know what the separation is there. I know that we have Sean McDermott now and Mike Tolbert. So maybe there's some, intel. Everyone likes to do they know what's going on. Granted, McDermott even admitted he knows probably some strengths and weaknesses. I'm sure Tolbert does too. Although Tolbert was told by the Panthers apparently that he was a weakness, that his skills were deteriorating. So I'm sure he wants to stick it to them. The Panthers obviously led by Cam Newton, the quarterback, slash running back, slash whatever. Although he only ran 3 times. 3 times for 6 yards, if you exclude the 3 kneel downs at the end. They were out to run the ball, though. I mean, they had 38 rushing attempts, but only for 116 yards. The one where it stood out, I guess, is the defense had a 4th down stop on San Francisco on the goal line in the 4th quarter with 8.5 minutes to go. And Carolina ran out the clock. They ran out 8.5 minutes, and San Francisco had all 3 of their timeouts. And a 2-minute warning, obviously. They ran it out. So, and the Bills were having trouble doing that against the Jets, getting first downs. They got 1 or 2 here or there, but they needed to get first downs and just close these guys out. Stop letting them get the ball back. Again, it was the Jets, so a better team might be able to handle that better. Should be able to handle that better. Probably does. They have, obviously, Jonathan Stewart, Christian McCaffrey, the rookie. Got involved pretty early. Ended up with 18 touches for 85 yards. Nothing extravagant there. They let him return punts, too. Cam, I think he completed all 6 of his passes in the second half. Was off in the first half, 8 of 19. And there's 1 spike in there, so 8 of 18. overthrowing guys, maybe a little rust. He only played like 2 or 3 snaps in the preseason, so that's obviously possible that there's rust there. But he also is coming off shoulder surgery, so how do we really know if he's the same player? Like I said, he didn't really run. Maybe they don't want him getting hit that much. I guess he found sort of his timing in the second half, but like I said, they only attempted 6 passes because they were up. They weren't really, and they were throwing to running backs a lot. Well, I guess the running backs. They weren't throwing to the receivers really. I believe Kelvin Benjamin caught 1 of 5 targets for 25 yards. Russell Shepard had 2 catches. He's the 3rd wide receiver, and then Funchess had 2 catches. So Funchess had 2, Kelvin had 1, Shepard had 2. That's 5 completions of receivers. Granted, the Bills weren't that much better at it. They had, Holmes had 1, Jones had 1, Matthews had 2. So it looks like both teams are kind of, sort of coming off very, very similar performances, where the defense was stout against the run, really good against the pass, even good against the pass. They ran the ball effectively. They were just efficient on offense, efficient enough. Didn't look great. Cam Newton didn't look like he was going to the Super Bowl or anything, but maybe their defense kind of did. But again, that's playing sort of, you're playing the Niners. So how much stock can you put into that? Luke Kuechly and Thomas Davis obviously still outstanding football players. Kuechly, a nice interception. Thomas Davis led the team in tackles, had a sack. Shaq Thompson had a sack. Julius Peppers is back there. I think he had a sack. Maybe him and Latulele split it. But they were putting pressure on Hoyer. Granted, I think the Bills' offensive line is significantly better than the Niners' offensive line. But this is, I'm trying to preview this matchup for you here. In the secondary, I think that's where the Panthers are weak, honestly, is in the secondary. Kurt Coleman's pretty good at safety, but their cornerbacks, Bradbury and Worley, not too high on them, I guess. Bradbury got beat by Marquise Goodwin, remember him? On a deep ball that Goodwin just dropped. Wouldn't have been a touchdown, probably, but he got just the 2. So I think there's, the Bills could take advantage of matchups there. Obviously, they have to watch out for the front 7, but I think that's the same thing. I think the Panthers might be thinking the same thing. I think this is now that I'm looking at it and talking it out, it seems like the same thing. The Bills they don't have Cam Newton, but they have Tyrod Taylor, who's mobile. He can throw it. They got a couple of good running backs, Tolbert and McCoy, and then McCaffrey and Stewart. Maybe Tolbert is more like our Stewart, and McCaffrey is more like McCoy. And then, receivers that are decent, I guess, and maybe take advantage of a weaker secondary. I was impressed by Trey White's first game. I like DJ Gaines, too. I'm glad he's going to be okay. It looks like he's going to be able to play. So, where are the advantages? It's Carolina's home opener, I guess. That is an advantage to them. The Bills on the road. The Bills having Sean McDermott, their former defensive coordinator. They might want to show out for him. The first loss for McDermott is obviously going to come at some point. So, I could see the Bills winning this game, but I don't think I'm going to pick them to. Like I said, I don't think earlier in the video, I wouldn't expect them to. So, I'm going to pick the Bills to lose to Carolina. I'm going to say 26-17. And I'm going to go with something like it's 23-17 or 19-17 or something. And then the Bills the defense can't get that last stop. Hopefully I'm wrong about that. Or the Panthers just add this late field goal to go up 9, and it's the worst thing ever to be down 9. Something like that. Yeah, 26-17. Again, if you're going, let me know. Hit me up on Twitter. I want to know what you guys think, how you guys feel about Week 1. I know that some of you still hate the Tyrod started and you want to see Peterman, whatever. Let's talk about the Panthers game. What do you expect? What do you expect henceforth with Tyrod? He's clearly the starter. Let me know, guys. I want to hear what you're thinking. Hit me up in the comments. Hit me up on Twitter, as usual. Have a good weekend. You can count on me having a good weekend. And above all else, go Bills.